Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, February 19th, coming to you live from Indianapolis, Indiana. We've got a good show for you today. The sports world, when we thought could potentially hit a dry time, has only been heating up and heating up and heating up. Friend of the show yesterday made an announcement as soon as our show ended that Drew Brees, yes, friend of the show, will be returning for his 20th season next year for the New Orleans Saints. What will that do to the rest of the dominoes in the quarterback game that is going to happen this offseason? Rob Manfred's an absolute buffoon. Can't wait to roast him and the sport of baseball. Ty Schmidt's going to have to stick up for that. Don't know how he's going to do that. We got Kyle Williams, legendary foosball player for the Buffalo Bills, joining us at 10:15. We got a great show. We can't thank you enough for listening or watching wherever the hell you may be. 1-833-622-3331. Give us a call. Be a part of this thing. Let's have a day. Evan Foxy, please play. By the way, Foxy's wearing this pink sweater today. Looks very good. Foxy got his hair cut yesterday, got his beard trimmed. He's back from Miami, so he sucks a little bit.
Come on.
This is going to happen. Every time Foxy leaves and goes on vacation to Miami, he's kind of a goner for about 10 to 14 days. We're in the middle of that period right now, but his beard looks good. His sweater looks good. We will definitely have him miss a jumper for the people today. Play some Chase Rice. Let's have a damn Wednesday.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is. Handsome Chase Rice, and I'm with all the boys at Nick Moraldo, at Tone Diggs, Ty Schmidt, Jason McAfee. They call him Cuban Zeets.
How we doing?
So many cigars in his smelly feet.
New shoes.
That's attaboy. They're not issues. Evan Foxy and Connor Campbell. Boston Connor is on the phone. It's great to have you back there. Good eyebrow raise to it. Our guy, Don, just told us something in our ear in the middle of the intro song there. Couldn't hear it completely. I'm sure that's very important. But I think the biggest news of today, which all shows led off with, and for us, it was only a matter of time before this decision was made. This guy had to make this decision before the offseason started for the New Orleans Saints to make their decision. Because if you know, the New Orleans Saints have a problem that's a good problem to have. A problem that a lot of teams wish they could just have one piece of. But they have 3 potential viable NFL quarterbacks that they had to make a decision for coming up this offseason. You have potentially the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, Tom Brady's best football player of all time, GOAT. He's absolute GOAT. Aaron Rodgers, most talented quarterback of all time. These questions. Drew Brees has every single quarterback record that you could possibly have. And he was facing, for the first time in a long time, a decision on whether or not he was going to continue to play. He's 41 years old. He told us at the Super Bowl that he had been playing football since the age of 11. 30 years, 3/4 of his life, 3 decades of this organization, of your life just being on a schedule, okay? Here's when 2-a-days start. Here's when training camp starts. Here's when this starts. Here's when this happens. He told us every single decision that he ever made about his body revolved around being a good person that can throw footballs. That's all it is, for 30 years of his life. So whenever the conversation started about him potentially retiring, we assumed it was because the Minneapolis Miracle broke his little Texas heart. I mean, that had to absolutely be a heart. That team, everybody forgets, that New Orleans Saints team that won in there was a hot team. Now, granted, the Vikings won it at home, and the Saints didn't have home field advantage, obviously, like that. But they were hot. Like, that was a team that I thought was potentially going to go win that thing. And then Stephon Diggs, who we will talk about today, has unfollowed the Minnesota Vikings. Welcome to 2020. Welcome to Inside Sources. Our inside sources, our eyes and scroll says Stephon Diggs hates the Minnesota Vikings. Stephon Diggs was trending yesterday because he deleted everything off of his Twitter and his Instagram from the Minnesota Vikings. And on the flip side, Adam Thielen has been tweeting
Kirk Cousins every single day. Good morning.
So Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen's relationship's growing. Stephon Diggs and the Vikings relationship seems to be disappearing. I don't know if we can dive into all that or whatever. We will. We don't have any inside information. I said when Stephon Diggs threw his helmet in the middle of a playoff game against the Saints while in the lead, that was a little bit of a questionable move. Vikings fans came after me, said I was misjudging him because in the mic'd up thing he told Kirk Cousins, you have to throw me the ball. You don't have to throw me the ball. It sounded like he was saying, start throwing me the damn ball. ball. But anyway, so that all happens. But in the world that we live in, decisions had to be made. So Drew Brees said on our show that this was going to be an entire process to figure this out. And after the Minneapolis Miracle broke his heart with Stephon Diggs, and then after the phantom pass interference call that made the NFL change a rule, which the NFL doesn't normally do, but in another heartbreaking loss in the LA Rams missed pass interference game to end their season. Then now you got the Kyle Rudolph thing, which any human outside of New Orleans says is not a pass interference. But if you're in New Orleans, you can say, hey, that was pass interference. I would, if I was a fan of the Saints, and if I was a punter for the Saints, I'd be like, oh, Kyle Rudolph just basically shoved our guy through the ground to catch. What do we need to do?
It was the same thing that Kittle did in the Super Bowl.
Exactly, and they call that. Yeah. So these are three heartbreaking endings to seasons where everybody's like, hey, this Saints team is going to make a run. This Saints team is going to make a run. And Drew Brees, self-admittedly, only knows ball. Like, absolutely knows. Varsity Blues, I feel like, is Drew Brees. Like, Drew Brees is a Texas high school football quarterback. That's what Drew Brees is. Loves football. So for 30 years, he's had this. And at the end of his run here, there's been three really good chances to win Super Bowl. You've kind of, in his eyes, you could say, like, we kind of got screwed here. And then he's not voted on the NFL's top 100 team, which, by the way, I wasn't voted on either. I'm very upset about it.
You don't know that. You might have been.
By the way, I was asked to be on the show. I never responded to the email. If I responded to that email, am I on the team? I have no idea. By the way, if I'm on the team and Drew Brees isn't on the team. Anyways, Drew Brees just yesterday decided he will be coming back for his 20th season. I'm very happy for Drew Brees. I mean, I am absolutely pumped for Drew Brees. He did it in a fashion that... By the way, my comment is tough. But he did it in a fashion that he might have been at Hawaii. I have no idea. It looks like some maybe Central America, maybe somewhere along those
Peru.
lines. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something along those lines. He's standing atop a mountain that's looks very high. I mean, dangerously high. And he says, my feelings about the 2020 season, I look forward to the grind and the journey. For the reward at the end will be worth it with 3 exclamation points. Love you, Who Dat Nation. Let's make another run at it. So him and his wife, I saw them posting photos, one on a vacation with somebody else somewhere. Obviously, they do vacations a little bit differently than me. They're hiking this mountain. I am just inhaling every vitamin on the island. I am doing everything that I can. But he goes on this vacation, and I bet you he had conversations late night with either his wife or his friends or his family, and they go, we can do one more year. I mean, we could do one more year, because that's a family decision, by the way. He said he wanted to see his kids more. He wanted to see his wife more. He wanted to do this type of thing. It's a family decision. He ultimately makes a decision, and he wants to come back and play football. Good for the NFL. Good for the New Orleans Saints. Terrible for old Taysom Hill, who was potentially going to be a franchise quarterback, is what Sean Payton said. Remember, Sean Payton last year, before they had to actually... when push came to shove and put Teddy Bridgewater in, he said he viewed him as Steve Young. He viewed him as Steve Young as the heir apparent. Then Drew Brees gets hurt. They put Teddy Bridgewater in. Everybody's like, well, if you thought this guy was your Steve Young, why won't you put him in? Mm-hmm. Then Teddy Bridgewater goes undefeated. So now Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent.
Yes.
Taysom Hill is
restricted free agent.
Drew Brees, hi, I'm coming back. Pay me $25 or $30 million, whatever we've already decided you're going to pay me. Taysom Hill, who said that he wants to be a franchise quarterback and all this stuff, as soon as he learns of Drew Brees coming back, he says this. He says that at the end of the day, I look at Drew coming back, and maybe I'm not playing quarterback, which is ultimately where I want to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. Just a few weeks ago, by the way, Taysom Hill was saying he was going to be a quarterback somewhere, and everybody who's ever seen him throw football in the NFL was like, yep, that probably makes sense. Like, this is probably a guy you would want to be a quarterback. He said, I want to have an opportunity. There are still going to be opportunities for me to make plays. I can tell you a unique experience for me that most backup quarterbacks don't get is I'm in the huddle with Drew on game day. That, to me, is invaluable. So, obviously, Taysom Hill's excited Drew is back. Cameron Jordan's excited he's back. But now we know Teddy Bridgewater is definitely out of New Orleans. Taysom Hill's now the backup quarterback there. Teddy Bridgewater alongside Tom Brady, alongside potentially Cam Newton, alongside Phillip Rivers. This just goes on and on about there is an incredible amount of great quarterbacks that are currently on the market. And I think the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell, who, by the way, looks like a Nobel Peace Prize winner compared to Rob Manfred, right? This guy, it's night and day. It looks like a varsity commissioner versus a freshman class president in Rob Manfred. And by the way, I don't think Goodell makes all the right decisions, but if you look at it as commissioners, like Silver is the guy. Everybody loves him because he hasn't had to piss off an entire fan base yet with a decision, which is ultimately going to happen. But I think the way he handles things is very well. Goodell, by the way, has to handle terrible things, sometimes does dumb things, but at the end of the day, it's the highest grossing company. He does very well. This Manfred guy is just an absolute.
He's an ass clown.
He's the
Stooge.
when he's speaking to he's talking down. He just doesn't look like somebody that should be even giving a presentation in front of a class, let alone a guy that should be a commissioner of a dying sport. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Plus, we have to get to a break for Kyle Williams, but this is good for the NFL that Teddy Bridgewater, who was recently undefeated, is out there. Tom Brady is saying, "Hey, I'll meet with any team you want. Just fly to my house here in L.A., okay? Not a big deal. Chargers, you're already here. We can chat. I heard you guys are potentially. By the way, I think GM of the Chargers is on our show next week.
Oh, let's go.
I think Tom Telesco, who was originally with the Colts, is coming back for the Combine. I think we're going to have a pretty good guest list next week here at the Combine. It's
a plan.
But he's coming on. I'm not going to say I'm going to ask him if he's going to sign Tom Brady because I don't want that to leak to him and him cancel on us. But I'm going to ask that question. And these are things that are going to have to happen. Tom, though, potentially Cam. Now Teddy Bridgewater, Phillip Rivers. This
Dalton.
is Andy Dalton potentially.
Tannehill.
Stafford.
I mean, Stafford's potentially on the move.
Tua and Burrow are
Hey,
coming
this
in.
is awesome. The NFL is getting very active. Now, granted, we got to remember, these are families just getting shipped around the country.
They're fine.
They're being very, very well reimbursed for this whole thing. But, man, the NFL is becoming a very active place, and I like it. I'm a big fan of it. Go ahead.
great for the NFL because if there's that many good quarterbacks available, that means that there's a lot of teams who are happy with their current quarterback situation, and teams with bad quarterbacks are getting better quarterbacks, and that's just good for everyone.
I just got a text from Takeo Spikes. No need for a name drop, but that's the first time that's ever happened. We'll be back on the other side with Kyle Williams. Another name drop. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month, with no contract ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
there. You know what I mean? That was
a good one. It's a good one.
That was a pretty good little beat there. Had a little salsa feel to it going into the break. Salsa. Nothing salsa in my mind when I think of this next guy. Just absolute legendary human being joining us. An all-pro defensive lineman, hilarious individual, LSU, Buffalo Bill man, Kyle Williams. Are you in a doctor's office? What are you doing?
No, this is the house I built. Thanks for judging me. You're a jerk.
Well, I'm happy we can get a piece inside of your home.
I figured the last time we were together, I was like in the wild blue yonder. So it's kind of like, where's Waldo? If we talk to Kyle, where he may be, where he may not be. Yeah. So I'm kind of playing a game with you.
Yeah, you were in a couple haulers down yonder there the last time we talked. I think you were out there killing some birds.
Great place to be.
Yeah, it is. I can't thank you enough for joining us. I love our conversations every single time. Now,
Man, I'm so glad to be here because every time I turn on the TV, you're jumping in a lake, you're running over here, you're putting a mascot head on, I see you on the XFL talking to coaches. You know, you keep getting me on the show, I'm going to have to ask for a piece of the nest egg you got going.
Hey, that could be something we could potentially do.
A little work out a little deal. I'm all about the door deal.
Okay, let's talk about deals then. D lineman is up, right? Chris Jones, who everybody says is the second best D tackle in the NFL behind Aaron Donald, who's the guy. Everybody knows that. He likes his pizza without sauce, which is very interesting. I tried it. It's actually not that bad.
That's a character flaw.
Anyways, Aaron Donald, I will never say anything bad about him because he's an animal. He's great at football. But Chris Jones is number 2 guy, right? He's up right now. If you look at D tackles or defensive linemen who could potentially go get paid somewhere else, like Ndamukong Suh took $100 million from the Dolphins, very much understood they were never going to win a game with that. Do you think Chris Jones does something like that? Do you think he does a team-friendly deal to stick around? Because they got to pay Patrick Mahomes. They got a lot of people there. What do you think happens with Chris Jones?
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say what his decision will be without really knowing the guy.
Yeah.
But great player. You hit that on the head. You know, I would probably put those two the same exact way that you did. Now, one thing to keep in mind, he just won his Super Bowl, right? So he's got the ring. So what do people want? They've already got the ring. They don't have the bag. What do they want? They're going to get that bag. I mean, and the guy's a great player. Somebody's going to pay him. He deserves it. You know, and I'm sure that in just judging by how he plays, his teammates matter to him. His team matters to him. So there will be some heart involved there. But at the end of the day, you know, you got to strike while the iron's hot in this league because it's not always running hot for you.
Yeah, I think he's got to go take the bag wherever it is. He said on numerous occasions that he loves being a Chief. He loves his teammates, which, by the way, I respect and appreciate. You want a guy that obviously loves and appreciates your teammates. But if you're a D tackle and somebody's going to give you bank, you have to go get that, right? I am 100%. Do you agree?
Yeah, you better gobble that up because you go first play of preseason. It could be a game. It could be a practice. A 320-pound offensive lineman falls on your leg. You know, maybe that burst isn't quite what it used to be. Maybe, you know, there's a lot of factors in. There's a lot of bodies flying around down in there. There's a lot of people that get hurt in there. There's a lot of different things that can happen. But that's really not just defensive tackles. That's everybody in the league. How do you have to strike while the iron's hot.
How do you feel about team-friendly deals and the thought that, you know what, Tom Brady did it for like 10 years, but he was getting front-end signing bonuses and other things like that, but he was still taking team-friendly deals for a long time. Anytime somebody's contract is up now, anytime. And if you look at the history of success for quarterbacks, usually, now aside from Tom Brady, who has debunked almost every single theory, a lot of these younger quarterbacks on smaller contracts seem to be the teams that keep it moving. Now, how do you feel about players potentially taking team-friendly deals, or do you think everybody should get it while they can?
Depends on where they are in their career. If you got a guy like Tom Brady who's been around and he sees an opportunity to have a championship football team where he's been most of his career, by all means stay. Or you get an older player that says, hey, you know what? Is it really worth it for me to leave a place that I've been for a long time, that my family knows, to move across the country for an extra $1 or $2 million? You know, so I don't know. There's different scenarios. But when you're young, when you don't have the long-term security that maybe an older player has, I think, number one, you need to take care of your family and yourself and have an opportunity to to do something generational for, I guess, your people.
I'm so torn on it too, because generational wealth is a whole different ballgame as opposed to just, accruing 20 million, which is a lot of money, but a lot of guys have to stretch at 20 million like 60 years now, which, by the way, still good living. Still, by the way, not saying that is bad at all.
If you're talking about like the course of a career making $50+ million, I mean, you're talking about, quite a lick, and something that no matter, what your heart feels, there's also common sense of like, hey, this needs to happen. I need to get this done.
Okay, you're down in Louisiana. Drew Brees just announced yesterday that he is coming back for the 20th season. How do you feel about Drew Brees coming back? I'm happy for him. Do you think that affects a lot of things in his free agent quarterback market, and how do you see it all turning out?
Well, that's the first domino to fall, right? So, in which I think you could have seen that coming. Drew's still playing at a really high level. He'll get an opportunity this year to throw for 200 bazillion yards, the most ever. I think, whatever it is. He's just going to keep adding on to that. But obviously for the Saints, great player, really great for the community down here because I'm so close. I get to see it. So that's just the first domino that falls. I mean, I can't remember. I don't think there's ever been a year like what we're looking at coming up here in the next month. Potentially, probably the greatest of all time. He may go to a new team. Phillip Rivers, Hall of Fame type quarterback, he's leaving, and Drew decided to stay. So there's so much going on that I tell you, the league's got to be smiling ear to ear right now, sitting up in the ivory tower in New York like, man, we can do whatever we want right now because everybody's paying attention to this.
Going to dominate the headlines for the next 2 months. Going to absolutely
for sure.
Everything.
For sure.
Let alone now LSU guy, Joe Burrow, he's starting to creep into headlines now, training with Carson Palmer's brother, Jordan, right? He just had this fantastic run with Joe Brady, who's now at the Carolina Panthers, Heisman winner, national champion, Ohio kid, and everybody's talking. Now, the conversations are swinging towards if Cincinnati was to give up that pick, or if Joe Burrow was to say, excuse me, I don't want to play here, I want to go somewhere else, a la Eli Manning or John Elway did in the past. It wouldn't be unprecedented. We're in a very different time in the NFL. These conversations are all very real and very possible, I think.
Sure. I think there's so much choice out there at this point, between, contracts and quarterbacks going here and there, and do I want to get drafted by this team, that team? Little known fact, I did that. I turned down the first overall pick because I wanted to play in Buffalo. So, I had an opportunity to talk with Mario Williams. I said, listen, I'll barter the first overall pick for being the first overall pick of the 5th round as I was. So, I don't know. I'm probably, honestly, the wrong guy to ask about it because I still believe that guys in the NFL, you have an opportunity to make a king's ransom playing a kid's game. It's a privilege to play. Now, listen, I also understand there's business aspects of all of it. But if you'd have gone back 3 years ago and asked Burrow or myself or whoever, hey, we're going to draft you first overall, who do you want it to be? I don't care. I don't care.
100%.
But I do understand there's a business part of it, and it'll be interesting to see how his side of things handle it, how all the quarterback things fall. Does that affect anything? I just don't know. I think that's what's great about it. You never see this many marquee guys at the marquee position potentially playing musical chairs.
The thought, though, that Joe Burrow is playing into this too, by the way. In his answer, I forget what it was, in the Fort Worth Telegram or something like that.
Fort Worth Star Telegram.
Fort Worth Star Telegram. What's its name?
I think.
That's a bad name. Maybe that's why the newspaper business is dying. By the way. That's a bad name.
It's a mouthful.
It is. Anyways, in the Fort Worth Star Telegram, if that's the name of the Joe Burrow said that he has leverage. He said, I have leverage right now. This is a guy who, now granted, I'm a Joe Burrow fan. His Heisman Trophy speech was absolutely incredible. I think you could see that he was a real guy. But this is a guy who's never played in the NFL telling 32 teams in the NFL, like, I have leverage right now. He very much understands where he's at. Now you got Tua's family coming out and saying, we don't want to go to Detroit. Like, hey, there's no way we want to go to Detroit. We see what's happening with Matt Patricia. He's probably getting fired after this year. We don't want our kid in that situation, and we'd rather live in Miami. Now, that's not the exact quote, but that's basically like the gist of everything they said. We are in an insane time for professional athletics, Kyle.
Well, I think, too, so you're looking at that, and it's this big, I have leverage, or it's the illusion that you have choice. and I'm with you. Joe Burrow probably had the greatest season a quarterback's ever had. But at the end of the day, a team can always play the trump card and go, hey, we're going to draft you and we're going to hold your rights. So I'm always of the motto of less is more. Like, hey, I'm going to show up and play, and I'm going to give my best effort. And then, hey, if we need to talk about something behind closed doors, we can talk about it there. But it's like you said, it's definitely an interesting scenario for all involved, and more than anything for all the NFL fans this year, because it's going to be for no lack of fireworks this offseason.
13 years with the Bills, is that right? We're trying to do the math on Wikipedia. 13 years?
Well, I have 13 fingers and toes being from Louisiana, so it's easy for me to count. So yes, you're right.
By the way, love the Louisiana people. They got put on quite a spotlight with the national championship run. What a crew of humans you guys got down there.
Oh, yeah, big time. Everything's a party, my friend.
That's real. That Baton Rouge song afterwards, whenever it was in the
Calling Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Baton Rouge, the whole place, and then the dancing, and then the cigars in the lock. I mean, it was an awesome. Louisiana got put in a great spotlight whenever LSU won the national championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell everybody there's no greater place to play college football and be a part of that. I mean, it really is. It's so much fun just to be in the atmosphere and feel the energy, and just really year round the what people get fired up about here. We're inventing holidays so we can have a party and enjoy life.
Okay, well, let me get back to what I was asking. Another group of humans that love to party, Bills Mafia. You were there for 13 years. You got 13 fingers. The thought of you only played one playoff game in those 13 years. If you were to one playoff game, and obviously it didn't end up well, but you got a chance to at least taste the dance a little bit. Joe Thomas, whenever we talked to him, he was arguably one of the best offensive linemen to ever play the game. 0 playoff games, not even a thought of a playoff game. I think he protected maybe 700 different quarterbacks. If you could go back, what would you tell your younger self about the run you're about to have in Buffalo? And I would assume you wouldn't change any of it, just like Joe Thomas said he wouldn't change anything in Cleveland.
Yeah, I wouldn't change any of it. And honestly, I think my mindset is what pushed me through what ended up being some lean years. And what I mean by that is I'm here to work. I'm here to be the best that I can be for my team. I think if you spend so much time around team sports, and I had great coaches growing up. I played for Nick Saban and Les Miles in college. So I think a lot of the kind of the coach speak and about team and about us eventually sinks in and becomes a part of you through osmosis when you hear it enough. So for me, it really, like the place that drafted me, the guys that there with the people, the community, it really meant a lot to me to be there. So I think my mindset, I wouldn't have changed anything about my mindset of just doing the best I can today and worry about tomorrow when it gets here. And the only easy day was yesterday. Obviously I would have loved to had them pick, the greatest quarterback ever before I got there and fallen into that, but that just wasn't the card I was dealt, but I gave my teammates in that place and all the coaches that I ever had there all that I could possibly give them.
God, what a human, man. What an absolute beast.
They should have given you the ball more at fullback.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Hey, listen, when that happened, I mean, some are saying greatest touchdown run in the history of the NFL. All I can end up telling you, 1 for 1, baby. I touched it, handed it to me, touchdown. You show me another percentage like that, then we can argue. Until then, it's a moot point. I'm the man.
Hey, those are Hall of Fame stats.
I'm just saying. I'll take a gold jacket as a fullback.
I didn't know you played for Nick Saban down there at LSU. That was before he went to the Dolphins?
Yeah, right before he went to the Dolphins. Had 3 years with him. He recruited me. I played 3 years down there, and then my last year was with Les.
What's he like? He's such a mysterious figure to me because every time I watch him in these things, like him in that Belichick thing I watched, he showed a little personality. But in the press conferences, you see nothing. I assume he's like a terror to play for. I might be completely wrong, though. It seems like he's like a good dude.
He's tough now. I mean, he demands a lot out of you, and when you don't give it to him every second of every day, he's going to call you out. He's a great football coach. And one thing that I appreciated about him is he was intense, and he was the same in February on a Wednesday as he was on Friday in October. And you know as well as I do, you can live under those circumstances in a competitive environment and on a team. Is consistency. I hated riding the roller coaster with anybody. Up one day, down the next. You never knew what expectations were from one day to the next. He was very, very clear. Great football coach. Probably while I was in the middle of it, much like everybody else that was there, they were like, this is every day and it's relentless. But as I got into the NFL and now that I've moved on, I've got a whole lot more of that in me than I do a lackadaisical, just kind of happy-go-lucky attitude. So he instilled a lot in me that I carried with me all the way through my career and still carry with me today.
Rich Rodriguez was the same way. I mean, he was a lunatic, a maniac of a man. Like, by lunatic, I mean like super intense human being. And there was a lot of conversations that me and my teammates had where we're like, "This is terrible. Are we all done with this? Are we like in the middle of like a very good run, like very good teams? We're like, this is a nightmare. Like we're waking up at 4 a.m. for this tour of duty off-season workout, and everybody's like looking at each other like, why are we doing it? Like this is, and then it was every single day. But then now that I'm getting older, like I look back and I'm like, I needed that has helped me so much as I get older. And it's one of those things where you don't appreciate what you have until you're outside of it.
Well, I tell everybody, when I went to school, we had freshman camp. Camp ever, which is
Congrats.
total.
Hey,
Yeah, total crap. But, you went in and you had full-fledged practices with 25 guys. I can remember running down on kickoff coverage, turning around, grabbing a bag, and doing kick return, in a freshman camp in Baton Rouge, Louisiana in August, and getting full body cramps during the day, taking IV bags. They're like, hey, you need to get off the table after your 6th bag of IV fluid. We got practice this afternoon. Going back and laying in a dorm room that I'm pretty sure had asbestos while we were in there sleeping, and you're sweating. It's 87 degrees in the room because it's 107 outside. You've got a circulating fan rolling around, just, and you're laying there and you're staring at the ceiling and go, this is what you wanted to do. This is what you wanted to do. You chose to do this. This is what you picked. And you're laying there at night and you're staring at the ceiling. You're like, oh, you start breathing deep, and then all of a sudden you're like,
hey, by the way, that 87 degrees in an air-conditioned dorm room is what made you survive having one playoff game in 13 years, Kyle. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's true. And I totally agree with it. I'll be the first one to tell you that so much was built into me, really in high school, because we had great coaches here at my high school. And then as I got in there, it just really kind of doubled down on all of that and really built who I am.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, we appreciate the hell out of you, man, every time you come on. You're awesome, dude.
I am so glad to be here with you. Let me know when you're ready for me to hit another golf ball over your head.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Williams.
How could you forget about – I'm never coming on his show.
No.
Like literally our bonding moment, and you don't even remember it. I feel so cheap.
I mean, we had a
I'm
good
just
time.
the guy you call and talk to.
Kyle, we had a good time. Our group had a lot better time than you were having, I think, at that golf outing.
I agree. You guys lived it to the fullest down there.
Kyle Williams, by the way, incredible defensive lineman, incredible speaker, great opinionator of the football world. He's a house builder, I guess. He builds a house. Scratch golfer. Not just a joke scratch golfer. Scratch golfer.
Soft hands.
Soft. Chip this thing over my head. I was standing 5 feet in front of him. He told me right before he swings, he's like, last time I did this, I hit the guy right in the mouth. And he chipped it right over my head. It was amazing.
Why did you change your voice just now?
Because you're from Louisiana. That's what I got. Baton Rouge.
Wow.
Yeah, that's on me.
Next time I see you, I'm punching you in the kidney.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Williams. Appreciate you, man. Hey, I'll see you.
Good to see you, pal.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Hey, very good golfer.
He had the best score on the last day of that tournament in the Bahamas.
It was against Steph Curry's dad.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 under.
Yeah, he shot 1 under.
But you didn't see that on television.
No.
CBS showed none of that. By the way, if we ever got the rights to that golf tournament, it'd be great entertainment.
Way better than the celebrity game. Way better.
I think so.
That game stinks.
The celebrity basketball game?
Yeah. So bad.
I was nowhere near a television when it was happening. I watched the highlights afterwards. The highlights were Paul Pierce yelling at Stephen A. Smith from what I've been told, Spice Adams getting
It's here next year.
Yeah, I've heard.
Spice was crossing people up out there.
Hey, I saw him post somebody up too early in the game.
And you're obviously going to be in it, but after seeing like the celebrities in it, I think maybe our whole office could play in the game.
Hey,
Jay is definitely going to be in it.
Jason Mac, DJ, happy birthday, Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay.
All right, we got to get to a break, and I got to read one of our 7 ads that we got to make up for the last week and a half. Listen, if you're listening, just buckle up. I got to do a lot of reading here. Let's go back to back with this thing.
Good move.
There you go.
These are supposed to be a minute long each. I'll wait 5 seconds here to start that minute, and we'll just get right to it. 2, 1, and when was the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see when I drive?
Never said that.
Yeah, you probably haven't. Now driving in bad weather doesn't have to be a headache thanks to the new Michelin Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades. These blades last through everything. To prove it, Michelin just put their new Endurance XT Silicone Wiper Blades to the ultimate test. A world record-breaking 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina, just to show how durable these blades are. Rainier Zeitler, who
Absolute
unit of a man. He's a Caucasian Zito. Rainier Zeitler, the man behind the wheel. He put the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades through ice, snow, rain, thunder, and wind, and the blades took all of it. These blades are crafted for extreme weather performance with an advanced quad-tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice and lasts 2 times longer than the other blades. The Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance. Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today, only at your favorite Walmart. Hiring the right people is one of the best ways to help grow your business, but it shouldn't take time away from your other priorities. With LinkedIn Jobs, it doesn't have to. LinkedIn Jobs screens candidates with the hard and the soft skills you're looking for so you can hire the right person fast.
I'm not familiar with soft skills.
Really?
No, I don't know what they are.
Diggs, you ever heard of them?
Not really, no.
Well, those are things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn looks beyond the work skills and puts your job post in front of the qualified candidates who match your business requirements perfectly. That's how LinkedIn makes sure your job post is seen by the people you want to hire, people with the skills, qualifications, and other interests that will help your business grow. It's no wonder a person is hired every 8 seconds with LinkedIn. Wow. You know, companies even rated LinkedIn Jobs the #1 hiring platform for delivering quality hires. Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay what you want and get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/Pat. Again, that's linkedin.com/Pat to get $50 off your first job post. Terms and conditions obviously apply. You're welcome, LinkedIn. That was 63 seconds. We're back on the other side with some phone calls. It's 40 minutes after the hour. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Get it when I get back. Get it when I get back. Get it when I get back.
Hey, here's some shit we talked about before. I feel like you're not that large of a guy. Is it leverage? What is it? Is it everything leverage?
No.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I'm not your stereotypical the fullback. I don't weigh 260 pounds. I played this season really at 230 pounds, and it really is it's leverage, it's using speed, it's angles, using a defender's rules against them. You know, I know when an inside linebacker, whether he has to have inside or outside leverage, and I can use that to my advantage. If I know he needs outside leverage, well, why don't I just keep taking a little bit wider? He's got to match me because he has a rule. He has a job to do, and that's to keep that outside leverage. So let's make that even wider, and that just makes the hole bigger for the back behind me.
That's that big brain of yours. Do you love or hate the fact that anytime anybody talks about you, they go, this guy went to Harvard. Do you enjoy that or hate that?
It's definitely a double-edged sword. There hasn't been a day that I've been in the NFL that it hasn't come up. But like I said, it's double-edged. It can be used for me. It can be used against me. So if I'm going to speak up in a meeting room, I better have the right answer. Otherwise, it's going to be used against me.
Yeah. By the way, if you ever around us and there was a question asked and you answered, you'd be like, all right, well, that guy went to Harvard. There's a lot of pressure. What was it like to go to Harvard and play football? Was it as similar to other people's experiences? I would assume it was very different than mine. I was drunk 6 days a week, and I would assume you were not.
Yeah, it's tough to say because I didn't get to experience, those big schools. But from what I've heard, there actually are a lot more similarities than you might think. Harvard does like to party. We like to let loose on the weekends and enjoy ourselves. There's a lot of tension during the week, a lot of stress that needs to be blown off. So we have fun. But honestly, it was different in that we're at the highest level of academics. And we're a Division I football program, so it's not like we spent any less time doing football than the Ohio States, the Georgias, the USCs, any of that. The time was still there. So you had to still be able to find time for academics, for a social life, which was honestly the toughest part. And the biggest tool I learned from going there was time management.
What did you major in?
Economics.
What are we going to do? Are you going to do Wall Street? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to be a Fortune 500?
No, not. Yeah, honestly, I have zero interest in economics whatsoever. Post football, I'll probably get involved in real estate because it's something I already do now. But I don't know how much that economics degree is really going to come into play.
Your Harvard degree will do. Hey, Kyle, your Harvard degree would do just fine, I think.
Get it when I get back.
Man, I didn't expect that terrible of a drop to come, but I like where we're headed. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here, Wednesday, February 19th, 2020, 45 minutes after the hour. Got about 9 minutes left in this first hour. A lot of good stuff touched upon. Drew Brees, obviously, Taysom Hill, Teddy Bridgewater. Then we were joined by living legend Kyle Williams, former defensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills and the LSU Tigers. The guy, I love every single time he speaks, I enjoy it. Now it's time for us to speak about a sport that sucks, baseball. Listen, now, a lot of people know my story. Tim McAfee literally did not allow me to play baseball or Jason play baseball because he hated the sport so much. He rather we played soccer than baseball because he said baseball lacked movement, it lacked athleticism, and I think selfishly for him, it lacked any entertainment value as a parent watching something, right? So he put us in football or in soccer, put me in soccer and Jay in soccer, which, by the way, I mean, a lot of movement, a lot of activity, a lot of athleticism, but that's a boring sport to watch as well. So that's how much Tim hated baseball. So growing up, I wasn't around baseball much. I don't know the inner workings of baseball. I don't know like the cool things. I like the inside baseball stuff. I don't know what those are. Like the banging of the drums, the stuff like that, where people or the banging of the trash cans, which was originally completely acceptable, by the way. Like the little intricacies of baseball that separated from other sports that make it the true pastime of America. I don't know those things because I didn't grow up. And I can just tell you, I grew up in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Pirates stink. Every other sport was really good. The Pittsburgh Pirates stunk. They for 20 years, they didn't have a winning season, so I hated the sport. Then I played professionally one night for the Washington Wild Things, runner-up in the Frontier League last year, no big deal. And I had a whole new respect for it, right? I had a whole new respect for baseball. I enjoyed playing it and everything like that. But still, as a spectator of the sport, can't stand it. I don't know how people watch MLB games. I have no idea how you do it. The only reason that I found is to go to a baseball game is in Pittsburgh when you go to PNC Park and you just get hammered in the parking lot.
Yep.
You're just going to get hammered in the parking lot, and then you're strolling into the stadium, and then you're like, oh, watching another team win that isn't the Pirates. You're hopefully taking a fishing net in there, catching a baseball. You're yelling at the little ball boy working on a third baseline if he gets a foul ball to throw you a ball. Like, there's everything but baseball going on. Then we went to the Yankees game for the playoffs. It was awesome to watch. It was very cool. I mean, it was a cool environment, but overall, in my eyes, baseball is still very, very difficult to watch. It's a difficult sport to watch. I like the playoffs. Other than that, I think the sport stinks. I think it's just there's a lot of things they could do differently. I think the season's too long, blah, 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 you name it. But now that I know who the commissioner is, I have never felt more right about something in my life. The fact that the sport of baseball picked this Manfred guy to be their head guy is the most damning thing that could happen to a sport that has a lot of damning things. I mean, they have 25 people watching their games in a lot of cities, and the guy that they chose to run it is an uttering buffoon in this Rob Manfred guy. This Manfred guy, whenever he speaks to the public, he called his own trophy, the commissioner's trophy, a piece of metal. He basically diminished every single thing that has ever happened in baseball, all the while not being able to make contact with the people he's talking to. People don't like Roger Goodell, right? For obvious reasons, because the NFL has passionate fans, loyal fans. It's the best league in the world. So whenever you're the commissioner, you're going to have to make hard decisions. He's made some bad ones, I think. I think he's made some bad decisions, but every decision he makes is in the middle of a fishbowl. It is going to be magnified to the 10th. This Manfred guy I didn't even know existed. That's how irrelevant baseball is. I didn't even know this guy existed until this week. And he's 0 for 10 in 1 week in my eyes. And he still has a job. He's still going to be the face of baseball. And this guy is the worst commissioner of anything. I've seen fantasy football leagues commission better than this Manfred guy who called his own World Series trophy a piece of metal this week. He's the one who gave immunity to these people that all these other players are like, no, you don't give immunity to what they're doing. He's just a complete scumbag, it feels like, and just yet another black eye on baseball is the person that you've chosen to lead it is the dumbest human on earth. Ty, you're a baseball purist. You love the baseball. I assume that this has been a bad week for the state of baseball, especially letting the world find out who the hell Rob Manfred is.
Yeah, at first it was kind of awesome because, like you mentioned, like baseball doesn't get talked about at this point. You know, it's like, okay, it's back in the news, like more people are talking about it, but then as this has dragged on and the Astros have looked worse and worse, and then you couple it with the biggest buffoon in the United States, Rob Manfred. So a little interesting tidbit. He was the general counsel for the MLB, and he investigated the biogenesis scandal.
Oh, great.
We love general counsel.
So he's familiar with that.
Yeah.
He said when he became commissioner, his primary goals were youth outreach. Hasn't done that. I mean, like the average age of the viewer for baseball is probably like 65 years old.
Maybe 70.
Embracing technology. Well, congrats, you buffoon. You know, he went a little bit too far with that. Quickening the pace of play. That hasn't happened.
Slowed down somehow.
And strengthening player relations, which he basically just nuked, you know, this entire week.
I've never seen an entire league of players come out and say, hey, our commissioner's an idiot.
I know.
Like the entire league. Now, when we first had Tucker Barnhart on, immediately upon, by the way, Gold Glove winner, friend of the show. I don't hate baseball players, just the sport of stuff to watch. Tucker Barnhart came on and was like, you know, it wasn't technically against the rules for the garbage can banging. He, as a catcher, like almost felt as if it was the catcher's faults for not listening to that and catching on. But then the more and more he wrote on, he's like, oh, this is disgusting. Like, this is not something, like every baseball player has been like, this is not something, you don't earn, this is not earning a championship is what everybody said. The one, Giancarlo Stanton or whatever said, I would hit 80 home runs if I knew what was coming. Like
he would have.
And people have told me that are in baseball where they're like, Pat, if you knew what was coming, you'd be able to hit home runs. I'm like, I stepped in a plate against a guy who knew was throwing a fastball, and I could barely get it out of the infield. So I don't know if that's accurate. But they say that the information the Astros were getting was like the most deceiving thing potentially in the history of the sport. Like, that's how disgusting it was. And the GM or the commissioner of the league was like, all right, you guys tell us what you did. Well, no punishment at all. And they're like, well, that's what we did. We had buzzers on our chest. We had a robot breaking down the algorithm. We basically knew what everybody was going to do. He was like, that's it? Yeah. Okay, good. We'll just bury this. Hope nobody ever finds out about it. And now everybody's finding out about it. He's like, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's basically what's happening.
And I know, like, some people were saying the players were being dramatic in terms of, like, this altering guys' careers, but it's true. Like, a pitcher comes up and gets absolutely shelled by these guys are cheating, goes back down to the minors, guess what? Never comes up again. There's a very, very simple solution to fix the MLB.
What is it?
Very simple. Don't punish the guys who are taking steroids for an entire season. A guy on the Astros just got pinched again. He's out 162 games. They've basically already said, hey, this cheating stuff, much worse than steroids. So why is there no punishment for this? And then guys who – because steroids doesn't guarantee that you're going to go out and hit 80 home runs. I mean, if it's a competitive advantage, give that competitive advantage to everyone. Let everyone do it if they want to. 2, let people rip videos online. I mean,
that is why I hate him, I think, because I am an internet human.
Yeah, the MLB is like the Gestapo when it comes to trying to, put anything about your league out there.
The good news for them, though, is there's really nothing we'd want to put out there.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes they'll be like big bombs, cool fights, that kind of stuff.
There was one time there was a bird flying around the stadium. He wrecked into the thing. That was funny.
Yeah.
And then they have the Falcon during the national anthem normally. Yeah,
lands on the person's arm.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
Third thing, let the pitchers nail these guys from the Astros.
Absolutely. This is baseball, right? This is like the intricacies of baseball. Like, hey, you do our guy wrong, we're going to do you wrong.
Exactly. Especially Bregman said on a podcast that one of his favorite parts about baseball is that when guys do something wrong, that they get hit. Like, it's an unwritten rule. So let pitchers nail these guys, hit them in the, obviously not try to hurt them or anything like that, but these guys deserve they deserve their comeuppance. And then lastly, cut 40 to 45 games off the season so that we're not starting when snow's on the ground in March and it's cold as hell in October. Or you're playing in the summer months. You're done by the time the NFL rolls back around, and maybe more people will watch baseball.
Here, Ty Schmidt. Ty, you'd be a better commissioner than that idiot I've seen on the internet the last couple of days. By the way, haven't seen him on TV, only seen him on the internet, which is weird because the MLB hates the first hour is wrapping up here. We'll get to some phones in the second hour there. Had to let Ty give his piece about baseball. Ty loves the baseball. I hate the baseball. Excited to hear that. Maybe I'll get her on the good side of it. We got AJ, Carson, Andrew, Phil, Michael, and Jackson on the phone lines. We'll get to you in the second hour. Lots to talk about. Joe Burrow, Tua, Drew Brees. Baseball sucks. We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. That was rude. I shouldn't have. It does, though. It stinks. Like this show.
One by one, it's happening. People are freeing themselves from the hassle and frustration of their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Simple Mobile. Truly unlimited, high-speed talk, text, and data on a 5G-ready network. And no contract. Ever. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
We had to change that song 2 songs ago. Hey, we've been in a little Vegas feel. DJ Nicky Nick over there.
New stuff.
Not bad song. Dun, 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 dun. Frank with the heater here. Are we back? We're on a commercial break. Thank God. Hey, how's it going? While you wait, here's some stuff we talked about before you got here. The Houston Astros are a big bag of shh.
Yep.
I'll just let it eat right there. I knew this whenever I met a guy named Randy.
Oh, yeah.
Who worked for their ticketing office. You remember this? Whenever we went to the World Series. And they were cheating in this World Series, I'd assume, that
Correct.
we went to. The only reason they were in this World Series is because they were a bunch of scumbag cheaters, okay? Their fans, by the way, I'm not talking about their fans. The fans are victims in this thing as well because they were cheering for what they thought was a wholesome, good Jose, 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 Jose. Our underdog story, our tiny little guy that really was the little engine that could. This guy that would take a bat and slaughter baseballs out of the house. He's ripped up like an Instagram model. He was a hero in Houston. Houston, you've been lied to just completely. And the Astros fans are a diehard fan base. We sat amongst them very high up because the Houston Astros lost our tickets where we were supposed to be. Then a guy named Randy doesn't even introduce himself to me, introduces himself to Hasselbeck, who was my guest, Randy. Didn't even introduce it. I hated the Astros. I hated the Astros. Immediately upon walking, sitting outside for an hour and a half, didn't get in for. And then this guy named Randy, who was he was an executive there, he stunk. Then you learn about this other guy stinking. And then as it continued to unfold, you're like, oh, this Astros team just is a complete bag of manure. They just absolutely suck at everything. And then the more and more that gets released through this whole thing, the worse they look somehow. This is like Myles Garrett coming back saying that Mason Rudolph did this, right? Now, if Mason Rudolph did this, we all agree that he is a despicable Caucasian human that does not represent the large majority of white people who feel that word is absolutely terrible. But all signs of common sense say that he did not say that. That the old Rudolph fella did not say that to Myles Garrett. I mean, just anybody with a brain is thinking that. This Astros team, whenever it was the banging on the cans, everybody's like, oh, clever. Okay, all right, clever. You got the catchers wearing, they're painting their nails a little different color. It's a little game trying to hide the signs. At second base, they go and talk. They do the cover of the mitt over the mat. The whole thing, it's like, oh, this is games and shit. I don't really know. I played professional once. I don't really know baseball that well. The banging on the things. Talk to Tucker Barnhart. Tucker Barnhart, who's the catcher for the Reds, he was like, if they're just banging on the things, if the catcher can't hear them banging on garbage cans and giving away the sign, that's on the catcher for notch. And then as it continues to go with the buzzers on the systems and the robots figuring it out and all this, they're just a despicable bunch of scumbags down there at the Astros organization, right? I mean, that's just what is rolling out. The pitchers who were watching their friends who were other pitchers just getting blasted and slaughtered in their own house without ever saying anything, they're even in on this, right? So everybody's in on this, and now their apology was trash. Their apology, the one guy comes out and says, oh, so we cheated to win? They didn't leave a hanging curve that we took out in the seventh or whatever on the road or whatever. It's like, oh, so now you're trying to stick up for the good that you did while obviously winning from cheating. I mean, it's just every single thing they've done was terrible. And I'm like, you know what? Nothing can be worse than the Astros. And then this Manfred guy talks. Yeah. Then the commissioner of the whole league talks. And I'm like, how is this buffoon a commissioner?
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is, Chase Rice. You handsome sumbitch. You just released the album Part 1 a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Pretty good album. Great album. The album Part 2 is coming. We hope that song will be a part of it. He gave it to us for free. Very thankful for him. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Second hour leading off. We are in Indianapolis, Indiana. At Nick Moraldo's on the ones and twos. At Tone Diggs, host of The Pod. At Ty Schmidt. Jason McAfee. Cuban Zeet. Evan Foxy rocking a nice pink sweater and a good beard. And Connor Campbell's on the phones, which we will get to in the second hour, although we didn't in the first hour. Big news coming out of the NFL just yesterday via the Instagram. And I think I like this a lot. Whenever I started utilizing the Twitter, it was strictly because I wanted to inform people that I wasn't the buffoon that was being portrayed on the news. You got to remember, when I got arrested for the public intoxication, the alleged swimming event, we can dive into that at a different time. They were broadcasting live from the scene of the crime, the news was. Okay, that is a real thing. Whenever I got out of jail, went to the Colts facility, got home, back to my house, I didn't have a phone because it was broken from water damage, and my dad showed up, who I thought hung up on me when I had my one call from jail. He just didn't want to pay $40 a minute or whatever to talk to me, so he got in the car. But when my dad got there, we turned on TV, literally almost every local sports, we are live from the scene of the crime. It is alleged this is where he went into the canal at, like everything like that. People didn't even know I was on the team at this point. They thought Hunter Smith was still the punter of the Colts. This is my second year here. They had no idea I was on the team, and now they're just like, oh, this guy, obviously on his bye week, is an idiot, right? Now, granted, it kind of did the opposite. All the younger generation of Indianapolis was like, okay, this is our guy. Like, this guy got arrested exactly where we probably walked by him last night, if that is where he was. So it kind of had a reverse effect, but nobody was getting my message out because I wasn't getting interviewed by reporters after games. It's not like, hey, you punted really good today. You know, Peyton Manning's your quarterback, but the way you punted is why you guys were 14-0 and didn't. Like, I was never getting interviewed. I was never getting talked to by anybody. So Twitter became my voice. Right? Twitter became my voice to people, my way of connecting to people. Even whenever I was the best punter in the game and making Pro Bowls, I wasn't getting interviewed. Twitter was always my way to speak to people. And I think as we've moved forward, you see Tom Brady has utilized Twitter to kind of cancel out other people who spin things. I think we're kind of phasing out the bias that is the media on telling what the story is, and players are starting to own their message more. I liked it because I could tell people like, hey, yeah, I had a great time, but I'm not an idiot all the time, just some of the time. I'm very thankful. And then it became a place where I was doing well and retweets started happening. And now we're 1.7 million followers. I remember getting to 500 followers and 1,000 followers and being jacked up about it because of how much fun it was. Drew Brees, instead of having an insider report it, instead of his agent leaking it to somebody, Drew Brees on his Instagram just yesterday announced, by the way, massive storyline. This is a massive NFL offseason story. This is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. A man who owns every single NFL record, was potentially going to retire. And on his own Instagram yesterday, which I like because we're a younger generation, he breaks the news himself that he's coming back for his 20th season next year. He says, my feelings about the 2020 season, he was standing on a mountaintop overlooking another mountain, which is overlooking an ocean. We don't know where at, with his arms completely open. I look forward to the grind and the journey, for the reward at the end will be worth it. Now, the reward at the end of the last 3 seasons was not worth it. It was heartbreaking, but I think that's why he's coming back. He says, love you, Who Dat Nation. Let's give it another go. Basically saying, hey, I am no longer retiring. I am not retiring. Never, no longer. I'm not retiring. I'm coming back. He broke the news his way. He's back in the game. Now, Taysom Hill, who's a restricted free agent, will probably become the backup quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is now going to hit the market. Some people are saying there's 4 or 5 teams interested in him. There's probably 4 or 5 teams interested in every quarterback that's going to be on the market. Marquee names are now Phillip Rivers potentially going to be a free agent, potentially the Colts, everybody's saying, because Frank Reich and he have a great connection. Tom Brady could end up anywhere. The Raiders say they're ready to offer him $60 million. We don't even know if Mark Davis has $60 million to pay him, but that is where they're thinking he's going to go. The Chargers are obviously looking for a quarterback, or the Panthers going to be looking for the quarterback. The Bears could be potentially, there's a Cam Newton's potentially going to be on the market. There's a lot of moving pieces that just started, and Drew Brees was the first one. He announced it himself. I'm coming back. I'll be at the Saints. Now Teddy has a chance to go figure out where he wants to go. Can Teddy throw the deep ball well? That's the question you have to ask, whether you're going to figure out whether or not he's going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer or not. I think there's a chance he ends up with the Colts because of how good he had this last year. You got to remember, Teddy Bridgewater, undefeated quarterback last year in Drew Brees' offense in New Orleans Saints. Now, Latavius Murray had a lot of runs. It was a very... but he still was a part of Michael Thomas's record-breaking season, right? I mean, Teddy Bridgewater started 5 games with 5-0. He has upped his stock more than probably anybody else this past season. But you got to remember, before he blew out his Achilles, I believe, or his knee blew out his knee, he was in the MVP conversation. And just a couple years ago, he took $500,000 guaranteed from the Jets. Now he's potentially going to get $25-30 million a year. I'm very happy for Teddy Bridgewater, but he's just one of the people on the market now. Taysom Hill is back as a backup quarterback, and I assume they're still going to use him as the offensive weapon that they are. But I'm happy for Drew Brees. I'm happy for the Saints, and I can't wait to see what friend of the show Drew Brees does this next year.
If a team takes a risk on Taysom Hill, say gives them $10 million a year, do you think the Saints are going to match that, or are they going to go?
$10 million, yes, they would absolutely match that. I mean, they'll match that for a wide receiver. Special teamer, backup quarterback. I think they'll do that, right? Restricted free agent is somebody can offer, but they get first right to match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now it's like, will somebody want to take a shot on Taysom Hill to be a starting quarterback strictly because Sean Payton last year said he's like Steve Young?
Say the Patriots. Say the Patriots need a quarterback, and Taysom Hill fits that system perfectly. Give him $15 million a year maybe.
$15 million a year, by the way, would be a gross under amount of cash to play quarterback for somebody. But Taysom Hill has alluded to the fact that he's excited to get back to the Saints. He says, at the end of the day, I look at Drew coming back, and maybe I'm not playing quarterback, which is ultimately where I want to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. So he left that carrot out there, by the way. He left that out there that, hey, just because Drew's coming back for a year or two or whatever, I still want to play quarterback. Then he says, there are still going to be opportunities for me to make plays. I can tell you a unique experience for me that most backup quarterbacks don't get is I'm in the huddle with Drew on game day. That, to me, is invaluable. So it sounds like Taysom Hill is like, I'll come back for another. We'll run it back if we need to. Let's do that. But if money's on the table to be a starting quarterback somewhere, that'll be very interesting to see what happens. But the Patriots are going to have an opportunity to get a lot of players. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be potentially moving pieces. What if Phillip Rivers ends up at the Patriots? Is there any talk of that happening? No. But could it happen? Maybe. I mean, nobody has a clue what the hell is going to happen. And it all starts and it all ends. Now after Drew Brees made this decision, it all starts and ends with the guy who is handsome, the guy who has a social media team that's second to none, a guy that eats avocado ice cream, a man who is potentially going to get $60 million to play for the Las Vegas Raiders. It's all Tom Brady, whatever the hell Tom Brady wants to do.
Speaking of him, how much do you think Drew's decision had to do with he's number one in touchdowns all time, he's number one in yards all time, he's number one in completions all time, but right behind him in all of those is Tom Brady at number 2, and he's like, well, if Tom's going to play another year, and I still want to be the all-time leading in all these categories, I need to play another year.
Talking to Drew Brees on Super Bowl, it feels like those are the types of things he does think about.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'll collect all the ammunition that you need to give me to get a chip on my shoulder. Whatever. Not on the NFL 100 team, sounds good to me. I can't do it anymore, sounds good to me. He's a guy that does that. Because you got to remember, at one point, he was undersized. And he was let go from the Chargers. He wasn't going to be a good quarterback. There was a conversation that Drew Brees wasn't going to be a good quarterback. He might be soiled milk or spoiled milk or whatever. Now he's gone on to be the best in potentially the history of the game with all his records, and I would assume that is something he's definitely thinking about.
I love that when Taysom didn't know what Drew was going to do, he was like, I'm not going to take a cut to be here. I want to go be a quarterback somewhere else, because he didn't want to be a backup behind Teddy Bridgewater. But now that he knows Drew's going to be there and knows how long is Drew going to be there, Taysom's like, I'll stay.
You know what's interesting? What was it? Beginning of the season, Sean Payton said, we view Taysom Hill as our Steve Young. And I think he was almost like, he's our franchise quarterback of the future. Then they had a chance for him to actually be a starting quarterback, and they didn't. They put Teddy Bridgewater in, and he goes 5-0. And Sean Payton had to be sitting there like, okay, well, if that's our Steve Young, what the hell is the guy that just went undefeated for us whenever Drew was there?
Nick showed us Taysom Hill's career highlights this morning.
Those weren't career highlights. There's a video.
Highlights?
There's a video circulating of Taysom Hill's worst night as a quarterback ever, and he looked worse than Connor Campbell at quarterback. I mean, he did. He looked worse than you out there.
I'm pretty good at quarterback.
Yeah, you should be upset that Taysom Hill looked better than you at quarterback.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
The masshole's delusions are just next level.
I've been watching Brady for 24 years. I know I'm good at.
Yeah, you got Mike. Did he just get muted? I love that.
He cut himself out.
Yeah. I think I cut myself. I was pretty tough with this button back here.
That's the first good idea you've had in 24 years.
Hello. Talk about you muting yourself.
Oh, whatever, Nick.
Maybe do it more often. Let's get to Michael in Louisville, Kentucky. By the way, is it Louisville?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on? Is it Louisville, Louisville, Louisville? How do you pronounce it? Because I know it's a big deal down there.
Louisville.
Well, it's definitely not how it's spelled, but I respect the fact that that's how you guys make everybody else pronounce it, though. Louisville.
Hey, first off, man, I wanted to say congrats to Ty Schmidt for his new career as Major League Baseball commissioner.
Thank you very much.
I think he fixed baseball.
Yeah.
He knows baseball, man. Hey, I was listening to the show yesterday, and I heard you say you didn't know why Chase Rice was trending. I'm here to tell you news that you may not have heard.
Let's go.
Your pal Chase Rice just landed a spot opening for the country mega god Garth Brooks on his stadium tour.
That's a big get.
Our guy Chase is rich. He's going to be rich.
Yeah.
Like,
I
forever.
just wanted to say you are my favorite Colt of all time, and every time I wear your jersey, the Colts win.
Why don't you wear it?
Well, what the hell happened there the second half of the season? What happened there?
I was wearing Dwight Freeney, and I don't know what happened.
I can understand. Hey, I understand it, by the way. All right, we appreciate you, Michael. Hey, good for Chase Rice.
Great.
That's a big deal.
That's a big get. Garth, a.k.a.
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
No. He's not opening for Chris Gaines. But I learned of this guy.
Sells out stadiums.
3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
In the same town.
Well, he comes to Indianapolis. He had like 2 stadium shows or whatever, sold out. And he's like, well, shoot, I guess we'll do one in the afternoon. Sold out a third one. They're like, well, I guess we should add one on Sunday. Did an afternoon one. Then sold one. He sold out 5 stadiums here in Indianapolis. 5.
And I'm fairly certain 3 of them were Notre Dame Stadium, like 80,000 people.
No, and he did
And Lucas Oil.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He
did Notre Dame last year,
Indianapolis
too,
and Notre Dame. He just rakes in all of the money. Don't take that down.
He needs it. He's living 2 lives.
Chris Gaines was a bad decision by Garth Brooks. I think Garth Brooks would even say that Chris Gaines was a horrible decision. For those that don't know, and I didn't know this until my life was shattered just, about a year ago, Garth Brooks had an alter ego named Chris Gaines, who was an emo
Australian singer.
It was bad. It was very bad. I don't know if he thought maybe that thing would go and Garth Brooks would go. He'd be able to have 2. Chris Gaines flopped heavily, but Garth Brooks did not. Garth Brooks is all we got to focus on. Sold out 5 stadiums. Chase Rice opening for him just through osmosis. He's going to pick up an eighth of a stadium. If he just picks up an eighth of a stadium in every stadium, Chase Rice is going to be generational wealth forever. They just posted a photo of Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines. Chris Gaines tried to ruin Garth Brooks.
He did.
But Garth Brooks is too strong. He will survive. I'm very happy for Chase Rice.
He's growing stronger.
Oh, he's bad. It's very bad. Good for Chase Rice, though. I didn't know that.
Chase Rice.
Yeah, that's huge.
He's going to make all the money.
All of it.
That's like when Taylor Swift has somebody open for you. It's like, congratulations.
Yep.
You're paid forever now because people get to learn who the hell you are. Chase Rice, for as good as he is and how long he's been around, I don't think there's a lot of people that know about him.
He's had a big few weeks.
Big few weeks.
A lot more people know about him now than they did a month ago.
Perfect timing. He's releasing albums around these. He gives a concert to his ex-girlfriend and her potential next husband, which is very nice of him. What's that? She get?
No, there's some more drama with them. Hometown dates, crazy stuff.
Unbelievable.
Classic producers. They bring in his ex-girlfriend for her hometown. Chaos ensues. It was nuts.
Does she still want the Bachelor, the ex-girlfriend?
She just said, hey, be very careful. I know this girl. She breaks up relationships. That's what she does. And then he didn't even meet her parents. Went to her hometown, didn't even meet her parents. And somehow eliminated some other girl. So she's still alive, but...
I'll tell you, sometimes whenever you head to somebody's neighborhood, you can get caught up in the sauce. You know what I mean? You just party. I've gone home to Pittsburgh a couple times. Didn't even see my parents. I went home to see my parents, and it was just like, well, I'll see you next time. The casino, it was pretty wild. We had a chance to go down. Stuff
happens.
Stuff happens. Good for him. I don't watch The Bachelor, but boy, the fact that they got our boy Chase Rice involved this year kind of piqued my interest. And then watching the internet just completely landslide towards it whenever it happens is it's epic, to be honest with you. Good for them.
Yeah. Trash TV. Entertaining.
I love good trash TV. Politics is trash TV. I'm starting to get into that. Bro, it is the best.
When's the election this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's coming up. I don't know how these humans get elected, by the way. I see, like Rob Manfred. That guy can't speak. How is that guy the commissioner of a league? He cannot speak. I feel like speaking is the number one thing a commissioner has to do. The fact that he even let those words stumble out as like a piece of metal, like calling your own trophy. The fact that even stumbled out, you're already like, okay, this guy is not fit for the job. Okay, this guy is not the guy that should be heading up. Do they make $1 billion? Is MLB a $1 billion business?
I would assume so, yes.
Do Do they?
Yeah, because I think like
couple,
the Dodgers
couple
are worth
teams,
$1 billion.
Yankees and Dodgers are definitely worth over $1 billion.
Yeah, but those Marlins have to be in the red. There has to be teams that are like super in the red.
They got Jeter behind them now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's very upset. He made the decision by a team. By the way, I think Marlins may even quit on him. I think he even wanted to go somewhere else. Anyways, $1 billion business should not have a guy that can't speak like Rob Manfred heading it up. And I think whenever you watch him speak, you have to grow your respect for Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell can speak for 2 hours and not say a single thing. Not a single thing is said. This Manfred guy spoke for 3 minutes and ruined the entire league. That is something I don't think Goodell gets enough credit for. His ability to BS every human about everything whenever he speaks. And that's what a politician does, by the way. And what I'm learning as I'm diving into this trash TV of politics, because when you're in Hawaii, you're 5 hours behind everything. There's nothing on TV. I watch this Red Bull Crushed Ice. Look for me to get involved in that stat. CFO Phil is going to be racing, I think, within the next couple of weeks. And then you got these politics shows on late night that I'm watching where these humans, they can't speak. I'm like, how do these people get voted in? And then you see Manfred, you're like, how's this person get a job? You got so many idiots in positions of power. It makes no sense to me.
Forbes put out value of teams. Yankees are 4.6 at the top.
Jeez.
Last place is the Miami Marlins at $1 billion.
Oh, so the Marlins are worth $1 billion.
Yep.
That's just them saying. We think.
Well, they just got a lot of cash flooded into them. So
by who?
Jeter, and then like 6 other guys that are in his managing group.
So Jeter was a part of hiring this Manfred guy?
I don't think so. Manfred, I believe Jeter was still playing when Manfred was
He gets fired from this, right? This Manfred guy gets fired. What day is it? Wednesday, February 19th? There's no way this guy has a job March 19th, right?
It's not, also not this. Like, he wanted to make playoff changes, which I actually liked, but the players hated. So, like, changes other than this, people were not liking him for many other reasons.
Well, and that's what people were saying is like if this guy was a commissioner in the NFL or the NHL or any other league, he would have been fired the day after.
Oh, the NHL guy stinks too.
Yeah, Bettman stinks.
Yeah, that guy stinks too. You look at the leagues that have a pretty good product and they aren't like nationally recognized. You can just assume that their commissioner stinks.
Yeah.
The NHL, I'm from Pittsburgh, Hockey Town, USA.
Whoa.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Hockey Town.
Grew up as a Penguins fan, diehard Penguins. Yarmer Yager, Barrasso, Barrio Lemieux, you name it, right? I go through the Ronnie Francis. We could do this if we want to all day, right? Big fan of the Penguins, but I don't watch them until the playoffs, right? Because I live in Indianapolis. They're never on TV. So playoffs begin, I'll watch it. Everybody should like hockey in America. Everybody should like hockey. What's that?
Thank you for saying that.
But they don't because the league stinks. Yeah. That's why the NHL stinks.
Great sport, terrible league.
That's exactly right. And that's hockey talk.
He looks like an unlikable guy.
Looks like a troll, like a troll living under a bridge or
something.
Stooge!
When's the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow? So what are we learning? Is it's easy to become a commissioner of a league?
Yeah.
It's all about who you know. It's all
need a law
politics.
degree.
It's all politics.
All these guys know where all the bodies are buried. That's where they're.
Yep.
That's why they're.
Roger Goodell's been in the NFL since he's like 18 years old.
Yeah. Same with Manfred.
Oh, Manfred has?
Well, because he was the lawyer. He's, he knows
He's
all
Bud
this
Siegel's
dirt.
guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Roger Goodell is watching these Manfred things going like, thank God. Because he catches he makes $40 million a year or whatever. So, I mean, obviously you're getting paid very, very well. But that Manfred guy looked like a freshman, not even hit puberty type human next to Roger Goodell speaking at a press conference.
I think that's maybe why he attacked the trophy, because his name's on it. He doesn't seem like a very confident human. So he's like, if my name's on that trophy, it's got to be a worthless piece of metal.
He called it the World Series trophy, by the way, today whenever he was talking about it in his apology. He didn't call it the Commissioner's Trophy. He said the World Series trophy. Maybe you're right. Maybe this guy just lacks all confidence, so why he doesn't make an eye contact with anybody when he speaks. When was the last time? You know what I have confidence doing now? Driving in bad weather.
Yeah, you should.
When was the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see a damn thing when I drive?
Never.
You probably haven't. That's because driving in bad weather doesn't have to be a headache anymore, thanks to the new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades. These blades last through everything. To prove it, Michelin just put their new Endurance XT silicone wiper blades to the ultimate test on a world record-breaking 16,000-mile drive from Alaska to Argentina to show just how durable these blades are. Rainier Zeitlo, who is an absolute unit of a man, was the man behind the wheel, and he put the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades through ice, snow, rain, thunder, and wind, and the blades took all of it. These blades are crafted for extreme weather performance with an advanced quad-tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice, and lasts 2 times longer than other blades. The Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance. Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today only at Walmart. fired. We're back on the other side with some phone calls. Congrats to Drew Brees. Congrats to Manfred, who's still the commissioner somehow, while being inept at everything it takes to be a commissioner. It's 11:21 over here on the East Coast. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show.
At Simple Mobile, you get the no contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G ready network with no activation fees and no contract ever. That's our best deal ever. Simple Mobile, out with the old, in with the simple.
Oh shit! Hey Steven, fuck you. And it is off the wall. Don't cut. This is a good at bat. Hey, nice pitch. I think I just pulled a hammy. Hey, back. Hey, fuck you, Steven. What inning is it?
Top of the second.
Jesus. Here comes McAfee. I saw that thing jumping out of the glove. Hey, what was that? Would have been nice to take a nap earlier.
Another throw.
Get back.
First. He's going back on it now. Coming over the center fielder. Harris makes the catch.
Cousin. James. What was that? And the catcher goes, I had to give you one.
1-1 pitch.
Let's go.
Line drive.
Son of a bitch. This is a good at bat. Oh, in my head, it was like, oh, yeah, you're going to drop this for sure. What the fuck are you even doing here? Why did we sign up for this? What's going on? It all comes down to this. My last at bat. Hey, I'm going to get on. You bring me home.
This is your life on the line, fucker.
Let me tell you something. You're going to take an L, okay? You're going to take one. So I think that the close your eyes and swing method is perfect for you.
Oh, this is hardball. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus. You have no prayer.
Number one, right fielder, McAfee.
Oh, boy.
McAfee at the plate.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. There's this guy named Jay, okay, in the American Cornhole League, I think is what it's called, who's been in a doubles game. He'd like to play me and Zito at cornhole. First of all, Jay, shut up. Okay, you're not even the number 1 guy in a league that doesn't exist. You're the number 2 guy. I haven't played cornhole in years. And no offense to Zito, if I'm going to play against the number 2 doubles cornhole player, I'm not picking Cuban Zeke to be my partner. I'll pick somebody who has played a little bit. And I haven't picked up a cornhole bag in probably 2 years. 2 years. Give me 6 months, Jay, you bum. I hate that guy. He's tweeted me like 10 times. It's like, Jay, are you an adult or not? Just stop tweeting me, you bum.
You don't need 6 months.
No.
6 months, though, the guy has no shot.
6 weeks, you're good.
No. I want to be very, very
You
good.
could go take 6 hours on the board
Yeah.
out there.
I'd like Jay to know that I give Pat 15 points, and I'm an average player, a little bit above average. 15 points, I never won.
I was giving professional athletes 20 points at a time. I was practicing for 4 hours a day for like 6 months straight. So it's not.
Were you on camera when you gave him 15 points?
Doesn't matter.
If it's a game of 21 and it's on camera, I give Foxy 20 and a half. Anyways, I'm tired of that guy tweeting me and Zito. Like, why is he coming after Zito too? Like, Zito's living his best life right now. Cuban Zeke. Why is this guy who's a professional coming after a guy who's literally just wearing hats, Hawaiian shirts, and smoking cigars? This guy's basically retired. Jay, get off our ass.
He's a hater. That's what he is.
He's the worst, is what he is.
Yeah.
I want to play against the number 3 guy and the number 1 guy. Yep. That's what I want to do. The hell with this.
How are the 3 guys better than him?
Any given Sunday. Let's get to Jackson in Illinois. Jackson, what's going on, pal? I'm going to win that ACL, by the way. I've just decided. These people are chirping too much, and I see them on ESPN. You're not that good. I want to let you know. You all are not that good. You're okay. I get it. You're good compared to the drunks that play in their side yard. Whenever you're practicing for 4 hours a day like I was, though, I think I could beat some of those people on ESPN with my left hand. That's how I actually feel. I'm going to start. Now, granted, I have to run a business, 9-figure valuation business. I have a daily show that I have to run. Like, we're creating like 3 documentaries and other things like that. But whenever I get the time to start training, I'm going to walk through all of you bums in the ACL. I just want to let that be known. Jackson, Illinois, what's up, dude? I hate that Jay guy. I hate him.
Hey,
This
Pat,
guy's never seen me play cornhole before. This guy's never seen me play cornhole before. And he's tweeting to play against me and Zeke with his professionally ranked partner. You're the worst, that guy.
He's going to get it.
You just did.
I'm not going to play that guy. That guy doesn't deserve to play me. I'm going to play the number 1 guy, and then I'm going to go to that ACL. I'm going to do that. I'm tired of them tweeting me, too. The ACL sends me DMs like, hey, when are you playing? I understand that it takes a little bit of practice to play. I don't have time to practice. If you don't know, I just got off of 6 planes a week for the last 4 months, all right? So while you bums are sitting in your terrible Crocs playing that game, I didn't have a chance to practice. Give me 6 months of practice. That's what I need. I need 6 months to be a professional. Probably the greatest cornhole player to ever play. Give me 6 months. Now, will I have that 6 months in a long time? I won't. But just know this, Jay. I'm tired of you tweeting me, and I am sick of your existence in this earth, and that almost makes me want to take the next 6 months off, which I can, by the way. I just got paid a ridiculous amount of money. I can do that. I am going to figure out time to do that to Jay. And then right before we went live on this air, I said, don't even mention his name. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. That's just not how I'm built. That's just not how I'm built. I'm sick of these ACL average players acting as because they're on ESPN at 4 a.m. in the morning, acting like they're good cornhole. But you're not. You're not good. You might be good compared to Cuban Zeke. You might be good compared to Boston Connor back there. Anyways, and I've made more money playing cornhole than all of you. I made more money playing cornhole because I know what you're playing for. I used to play that in 1 game in the locker room. Anyways, sorry about that, Jackson. Or what do you want to talk about?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Not great. Jackson, not great right now. I'm not happy about these cornhole players popping off. I'm not happy about it.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. Hey, I know nothing about cornhole myself, so I couldn't tell you anything.
Well, Jackson, you sound like my type of guy. As long as you don't call it bags, it's all that matters. True.
Anyway, Pat, I'm a huge fan of the show. I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm a Chiefs fan and a St. Louis Cardinals fan, and I wanted you to tell everyone on the show your craziest story about Adam Vinatieri.
You know, the first night I met Adam Vinatieri is probably my favorite. It was a preseason game. I forget if he had a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I forget what it was.
He's Italian. It's a Ferrari.
I think it was. Yeah, but I think they're...
Yeah, but Ferrari is more Italian. And Enzo Ferrari is more Italian.
So I think it was a Ferrari then. He had a Ferrari. It was a preseason game. And this isn't the craziest story, but it's my favorite one. Aside from him, like, teaching me how to be a professional and, you know, like, things like that. My first preseason game, though, he wasn't playing or something like that. And he wanted to get to know me. He wanted to have some drinks. He was like, hey, let's go out, have some drinks or whatever. He said, I'll drive. I won't drink, but if you want to drink or whatever, you can do that. Sounds good. So we're out in his Ferrari, okay? And we're showing up at these bars. And it was that night where Vinatieri learned that I can chug very quickly, right? I was just housing pitchers in front of him. I'm like, all right, Adam Vinatieri's here. I got to do what I got to do. And we drove around in this Ferrari. And it was at that moment where I was like, this guy's the best human to ever exist. Top down in the Ferrari, traveling around Indianapolis, parking it in front of places as if you're Jerry Jones, like Dallas Cowboys bus, throwing the keys basically to the front person. The front person be like, is that Adam Vinatieri? And is that a Ferrari? And it's like, yes, and yes. And we're only going to be here for like 5 minutes. And that was the night, I think, where I learned that Vinatieri is just like the coolest dude to ever exist. He I don't want to say he dragged me out of places, but he basically was like carrying me around and was like, here you go. Let's take it home. Him and Mark Henry have carried me home. And I think those are two things, but that's just like Vinatieri in a nutshell. He had me, I think I might have, no, I didn't. I almost puked in his Ferrari, I think, and he was like nothing but a good friend. Vinny is just a good dude. And I was very lucky to be a teammate of his and a friend of his, and I think he's in my wedding. So
we love Vinny.
Love Vinny.
He's incredible.
The GOAT.
Everybody. And he's so humble. He shouldn't be as humble as he is. He's like the guy who, whenever we were on the Colts and things were going wrong, he's the guy that should speak up. Right? He's won 4 Super Bowls, been in the league 20-plus years. I have no idea what he's going to do next year. I don't want to ask him because I have a microphone in front of me every day. And as you just heard with that Jay guy, I can't hold anything in. There's no filter. So I actually don't want the information of whether or not he's coming back or what he's doing because I'll be like, well, Vinatieri's coming back. Like, I just will have to do it. I don't know what to do that. But he's a guy who literally acted as if he was a rookie every single day he was in the building. And that was... when something went wrong, I'm like, Vinny, you should go tell them. He's like, I'm not doing that. That's not for me. That's for somebody else to do. I'm like, no. Like that's actually what you're here for. He's like, no. Because if I miss a kick and now I'm yelling at them, they're going to cut me. I'm like, Vinny, hate to break it to you, you're not going to get cut ever in your entire life. I think that's the Vinatieri. He's just a guy's guy, a dude you want to drink beers with, and and he's very cool. And he's a guy that's just like one of the hardest working competitive humans I've ever been around. And that's why I like Adam Vinatieri.
Even this year, you look at him like not throwing blame on anyone else, like basically like, eating that all himself. Like, yeah, hey, I'm the reason we're missing these kicks. It has nothing to do with the holder or the snapper, never throwing anyone under the bus in public or anything
and needing
like that.
surgery. Like never being like, well, I could barely walk. My plant leg is bare. I am 40-some years old. So it's just like Vinatieri is first ballot Hall of Famer as a human and as a kicker. Before we get to this next break, let's get to Andrew in Rochester, New York. The Rochester
Rockets.
They have a soccer team up there. We used to play against the Rhinos, I think, the young Rhinos, the Rochester Rhinos or something like that. Andrew, what do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to show my appreciation. I drive truck for a living, so I look forward to 10 a.m. every day on the hour, no matter what. I know there's a lot going on with the baseball commissioner and this and that. Just wanted to make sure we didn't forget our mission statement to get Alberto Riveron out of office. He's a dude and a sellout, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of
Let's get to a break. Andrew, that was amazing. Andrew, I appreciate you down there, driver. Okay? Got a little bogey up there on the left there. We floating gears here. We're floating gears here. Tim McAfee is a truck driver. I could operate one if I had to. I could do one if I had to. I respect the backbone of America, which is truck drivers. I do. I wish some of y'all would have a little self-awareness and stay out of that left lane, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because some of them get a rolling, and they're like, oh, we can pass this truck that's in front of us. And they don't understand that the lay of the land coming up is there's a little bit of an upgrade coming or an incline coming. And then you just kind of block everybody's life for like the next hour and a half. And I understand you got a job to do, but I got places to go too, Andrew. And I think Andrew would never do that.
No.
It's those ass clowns that are doing that, not Andrew.
Big Jake break guys.
Is there lefty truck drivers? So they'd shift to the left?
In Europe?
Yeah.
I assume there are trucks in Europe. Yeah.
And they shift to the left hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's European cars. There's also people that race for pink slips that have put their driver's seat on the right side so they shift with their left
Jay and Nick.
Yeah. Oh, Jason. Oh, Nick, what car club were you in?
I was not in a car.
Nitrous Rush.
Nitrous
Nitrous
Rush.
Yeah! I did watch Fast and Furious and put neons under my car, but I was not in a car.
Oh, sure. You put one of them little fart buckets, too, on the exhaust.
No, I should have.
Tokyo Nick!
35 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple. Get truly unlimited data on a 5G-ready network for just $45 a month, with no contract ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Well, hello there. Don't be bored. Watch this stuff we talked about before.
Did you have a lot of surgeries?
8. Jesus. Yes. I said I wanted to play 10 years and have 10 surgeries. I played 9 years and had 8 surgeries.
So every offseason was rehab?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's no fun, dude.
Nah.
Rehab
shoulders, knees.
sucks.
So I had growing, hip. I broke my hand in the Super Bowl. Did you know that?
No.
The second Super Bowl, 4th and 2, they went for it. Right?
Okay.
It was cover 4. They were running a dive left.
Cover four.
Cover 4 is like a coverage. There's 4 people in the back. Like all defensive backs and both safeties they play deep. So it's like they split the field in 4s.
Okay.
Right. So I have responsibility to the right. I know they're running left through film study. Right. So Clint, he like.
Sensation.
The best human on earth.
Ever. But he's stunned, right? He's looking 4 for 2. They go for it in the Super Bowl. So I shoot over, unblocked. I make the tackle. I'm getting him down. Tim Jennings comes from the back, and he puts his helmet right on my hand.
Was it between? Was it between another helmet?
No, it was between the helmet. So bam, so it's broke. So now I get up. Everyone's excited. Yeah, 4th down, we're off. And I'm like, I broke my hand. And then everyone's like, because you play sports, you hit your hand like, my hand's broke. They're like, all right, okay, let me see, can it move? And then you move, and it moves like,
You broke your hand.
They're like, no, let's go inside. I'm like, bro, it's like 2-3 minutes left. Like, let's figure out like what's going on here. And then, so we go inside in the locker room, and then they're like, Hambone was like, oh, damn, man.
Head athletic trainer.
Yeah, it sucks to go out like this, man. You had a hell of a season, man. Damn, man, you broke your hand. But then the doc's like, like, how much pain are you in?
Is this real right now?
This is like facts.
I didn't know
This is at halftime of the Super Bowl?
Halftime Super Bowl. So I'm in there like, it's broke. I feel it. My adrenaline's going. Like, what's up? They was like, well, if you could get through the next hour and a half, we can give you some pain meds.
Mm-hmm. Is this real?
Bro,
I didn't know this happened.
Did they x-ray to see how bad it was broken?
So this is what they said. They said, hey, let's go get an x-ray.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's broke. Like, we know it's broke. We're wasting time. Like, it's halftime. Actually, if I'm going to play, I need to figure out some adjustments to make. So then I'm going in there, right? Where's Gary at? We need adjustments. So then the coach comes in like, hey, Gary, we need you. They got this big needle they're about to stick in my hand, right? I'm like, I'm kind of busy. He's like, oh, when you're finished. we're out here. So then, they inject it a few times, numb it up, they pad it up, and then I got there. But this is it, right? I have a record. This is probably the only NFL record that I have. I have the most solo tackles of any player at any Super Bowl in that game.
Let's go!
Hey!
How many?
It's a pretty good record
12.
to have.
That's a lot of solo tackles.
Yeah.
And how many in the second half? Do you remember?
Like 4. Jeez.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Tokyo Nick playing only the heaters. Zito asked one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard.
Was it?
Second to, is there salt in the Pacific Ocean?
Still haven't got to the bottom of that one.
We have. I was just in the Pacific Ocean.
No salt in your eyes, huh?
Kept them closed. But the conversation was if there's any lefty truck drivers that in America, because in America you sit on the left side and the stick is normally to your right, is there any lefty truck drivers? Which obviously led a lot of people to think that Zito is a college graduate, and we think maybe the furthering your education system is completely flawed if that's the case.
Roll birds.
And him thinking Illinois State gave this guy a degree, but then obviously you think, like, does Zito think that there's not a single left-handed human that drives a manual car in America? And then obviously you just know that Zito lives in his own world and things like that. But I just talked to Tim McAfee, former truck driver. He said in Europe, or in London in specific, where the truck, obviously you drive on the other side, they're called lorries.
Not trucks.
Not trucks. They're called lorries.
Very interesting.
Smaller roads.
Very small, also very tight trucks too. Their trucks are like they're like those Mercedes-Benz,
like the Sprinter vans.
Sprinter vans. That's what their trucks look like. Very,
I've
very.
taken a few lorries for a ride.
No, you haven't.
Oh, Tokyo Nick!
Let's go to AJ in Virginia. AJ, what's going on, pal?
Not much, Pat. How are you?
I'm okay. Not too shabby. Thanks. How are you?
That's good. Glad you're back. I got to talk to the boys twice this past week, but no love for them. No love.
Oh, well, you're coming back on my side. That Eddie from Tampa guy, never letting on the air again. Eddie?
I've already shut him down a couple times.
Connor's now the people judging whether or not people get on the air. That's good.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
AJ, what do you want to talk about, brother? I appreciate you calling back in.
Oh, this is the guy who keeps trying to get us to do millions and millions.
Oh, he's going to do that?
And we never do it.
It is.
Okay.
But now I feel like Jay. You know, I keep calling. You told Jay not to keep tweeting you. So now I feel like Jay. I keep calling.
No, well, this is the first time I've heard you call, to be honest with you. Jay just keeps tweeting. He wants this is the number 2 national doubles cornhole player in the ACO, and he wants me to play with Zito against him, and he's trying to talk like this guy is the worst human that exists. His beard stinks. Everything. I'm done. I'm not talking about him anymore, AJ. You are not in his world. I apologize.
All right, so I just want to talk about the Lions, right? Because I know
they stink. We're done. AJ, I appreciate you calling in. The Lions are in a bad spot, by the way. I mean, now they're getting rid of Darius Slay. Tua, here we go. We haven't talked about this yet. Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa, who was a righty at birth, but his dad tied his arm to his side. He became a lefty. One of the most proficient quarterbacks in the history of college football. Whenever he stepped on the field for Alabama and won the national championship in his first half of football, and then he went on, obviously, to be a dynamic player down there, something that just completely changed and flipped the SEC on its head, because Alabama, always a very good team, but normally they just relied on their running backs and won like 10 Heismans with running backs or offensive line and good D play. But then Tua came in there and just became this pick-apart type passer for them. And everybody knew that he was going to go to the NFL at some point. Some humans said, and this is what some humans said that spoke into microphones professionally, said that with Tua at Alabama and the amount of talent that Alabama had, that they could have potentially beat an NFL team. That's what some people were saying. Mm-hmm. Those people obviously very dumb. Those people, very, 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 very stupid people, because no college team could ever beat a team of adults. But that's how good Tua was, and that's how good the Alabama team became whenever Tua was playing. Now, here we are, 4 surgeries after 2 years, a couple ankle injuries, a hip injury, a riddled with injury career that had a lot of success in it, still being talked about as a top 5 quarterback pick in the NFL draft because of how good he could possibly be. A lot of people are saying with the number 3 pick, the Detroit Lions are going to take him, move Matty Stafford, who had a broken back last year and has effectively wasted a lot of good years and good numbers with the Detroit Lions without ever really being able to find a stable home up there. Now, Matt Patricia sticking around for a 3rd year is good news, because we think you fired Jim Caldwell too early. We think you've done this in the past. You learn from those past mistakes. But that decision to keep Matt Patricia with the Detroit Lions, the Tagovailoa family is saying why they don't want Tua to go to Detroit. Not only do they not want to live in Detroit, they've said that. Mm-hmm. They say now with the coaching situation in ARC, I believe is the way they described it, the coaching situation in ARC, they don't want Tua to get drafted to the Detroit Lions And with Matt Patricia's record being 9-22-1 as the Lions head coach, get fired in a year and then be stuck in a position where he was a first-round draft pick quarterback for another GM, another coach, and get stuck in a position of flux, which, by the way, I respect and appreciate thinking that deep. If they would have came out and said, we don't want our kid going to Detroit, I think people would have respected it. I think people would have been like, you know what? A little rude of you to say to the city of Detroit because those people have been through enough. Okay? We already know that Detroit is the biggest failing sports city in the history of sports right now. The Pistons are nowhere near 8th place, and their own player just tried to get out of there. Now he joined the Clippers, right?
True.
I mean, that's what happened.
Yep.
The guy,
Mr.
the Mr. guy,
Bobby Shmurda.
Yeah, Bobby Shmurda. The Tigers are terrible.
Yep.
The Red Wings are terrible.
Yep.
The Lions have been stuck in this terrible thing.
Yep.
I mean, Darius Slay's on his way out, one of the best players in football.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like the Detroit fans don't deserve it. So if Tua's family came out and said, we don't want to go to Detroit, and just put a period right there, I think a lot of people would be like, well, we can understand that, but you might end up there. Now they're like, listen, not only are we from Hawaii, we're in Alabama, and now people are talking about us going to the Motor City up there near Canada. Not only is that the case, but now we're talking about a potential situation where we're getting drafted to a lame duck coach, which is going to get fired in about a year if he doesn't have a lot of success. Now you're putting our kid in a bad situation business-wise, from professionally and personally, and that's not what we want to be a part of. I think that's a good move by the Tagovailoas, and I don't think it matters. I think the Detroit Lions are going to do whatever the hell they want to do no matter what that family says.
I think, and I don't know why Detroit fans get mad when at the idea of drafting Tua.
Oh,
I get mad.
Yeah, what has Matt Stafford done for you? How many playoff games has Matt Stafford won for you?
He hasn't been the problem, Diggs. It's been everyone else.
Well,
You guys forget the first 4 games of the season when we were undefeated, he was in the MVP conversation.
you put him in the MVP
You guys
conversation.
tied the Cardinals, in the first 4 games, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So undefeated is a hilarious. I mean,
Still undefeated,
the way
no
you-
losses.
Yeah, great wording, by the way. Maybe you should be the commissioner of the MLB. You had the ability to say something there without saying anything. But Matt Stafford, I think we can all agree, has not been the problem in Detroit.
Absolutely not.
The fact that he gets made fun of for being Pad Statfords, which is that was a lot of time was invested in that for, I don't think, the big pay.
Waste of time.
Yeah, a big waste of time. But I respect what they do with Gridiron Heights or whatever it's called. I respect. I just think that one was bad. I think Matthew Stafford does deserve a chance to play potential football for a good team,
Agree.
And if the Lions team are going to be that next year with Matt Patricia continuing to build and in his 3rd year, I'm happy for him. But if it's time to move on to the next quarterback and get Matt Stafford over there, and if you think Patricia's going to be around for a long haul, which Patricia told us that he talks to the Ford family every single week, right?
Smart.
So I assume he knows what's going on and what the future is. I don't think he said there was ever a thought that he was going to get fired. He said that's the way the league is. I get fired tomorrow and all that stuff. So if Tua's the quarterback of the future in Detroit, would that make you happy, Evan Fox?
No, absolutely not. I've said this
Why?
before. Because you got a guy from Hawaii that went to Alabama. He's not going to fit in Detroit. And also, he played.
Not going to
Pat.
fit in.
Whoa. He's not.
No, you cannot
Pat.
say. You
What
can,
the hell
well, you
does that
got a
mean?
problem with us?
He already came out and said he doesn't want to be in Detroit.
His
Also,
family sources.
Yeah, it's his family. It's
his
sources.
family's toxic. You know what? You remember when they won?
Whoa!
Do you guys correct me if I'm wrong? When they won that national championship with Tua, and then in the offseason they decided, is it going to be Jalen Hurt or is it going to be Tua? When they said, if it's Jalen Hurt, I'm transferring. Do you guys remember that?
I mean, what if
Well,
it's
the dad is a businessman. I mean, he made his kid a lefty because he knew that would make him more money. I mean, his dad is a hard-nosed individual. I think we all know that from the 30 for 30 or whatever and everything we've heard about it. But I wonder if this is Lions leaking this information, saying this information so that other people can want to get up there. I wonder if this is Tua's agents leaking the information. You got to remember, this time of year, you have no clue who's talking about what. There's smoke screens coming out. Like Cincinnati Bengals trading away their number 1 pick. Somebody's going to have a source close to the Brown family. It's going to say they're thinking about trading away the number 1 pick just so that they could potentially hear other options and get baited out of there so Joe Burrow can go elsewhere. You have no clue who's lying to anybody about anything. It's an insane time in the NFL.
On Monday, there was reports that the Dolphins are are grading Herbert higher than Tua now.
Exactly.
That's just all smoke.
Exactly. It's all a lie.
What if the Lions is a Kansas City Chiefs situation where they had Alex Smith and they drafted Mahomes, and the Lions have Stafford, now they draft Tua, and Tua becomes a star.
Do you have him sit behind him for a year, like what happened with Aaron Rodgers and Brett and all
Yeah.
that stuff? That'd be interesting. I think Tua is in a redshirt year. I think everybody agrees that Tua's going to redshirt next year, just strictly because of the hip issue potentially. But they're saying he's going to be back healthy 100%.
See, that's what scares me, though. You're behind the Alabama offensive line. You're never going to have a better offensive line in football at any level, and the Lions clearly never do have a good offensive
By
line.
the way, I think I said that on game day or something. I said that just because I assumed. I had a lot of people come after me. They were like, that Alabama offensive line you think is the best in the country? Have you seen them boys in Georgia? Have you seen them boys?
Yeah, those are the SEC maniacs that we witnessed, though.
I was like, no, I haven't actually. I just said that because I assumed it. I just assumed Nick Saban had the number one offensive line. Hey, that's how they used to win games. And I assume also the amount of weapons he had against other people, the offensive line, he had 4 surgeries in 2 years. There's a massive question mark on whether or not he's going to be able to sustain and survive. I think he'll be good if he can. But boy, if he's a Lion, I don't think anybody is happy in that relationship. The Lions, Tua's, none of them. Unless he goes out there and balls, which is potentially his chance, I guess.
You never
See,
know.
Foxy, I feel like if you're a diehard fan of Matthew Stafford, and you're probably one of his biggest supporters, wouldn't you be happy to see him go elsewhere to try to win?
Only if he wants out. If Matthew wants out, and his wife Kelly actually posted on Instagram like a little like, "Ooh, LA would be nice." And hey, by all means, if he
Did
wants
she
to,
really post that?
Yeah, she really did, because it was like
I love her.
one of those.
I love that so much.
One of those rumor articles came
On the
out. and
Chargers?
The Chargers was one of the rumor teams, and she posted a screenshot. It was like, LA would be nice.
Okay, so Drew Brees posted he's coming back on his Instagram. Stafford's wife, Kelly, posts like, you know what? It'd be great to get the hell out of here. Hey, somebody needs to email the Tuas and let them know he's probably coming here. And we can give him the house, by the way. He can just have our house if he wants to come here. That you want Matthew Stafford to come out and have a press conference and say, you know what? I would like to win a game at some point.
Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need. If he does that, I'm okay with them trading him away, and then I become a fan of that team instantly.
That team wherever he goes?
You stick with Stafford.
Hold on. Here's Hunter. Hunter in Texas. What's up, Hunter?
Hey, Pat.
What's going on, man?
Hello?
Hunter.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You got like a minute and a half. Not even. You got like 30 seconds.
Hey, Pat.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, my God.
Hunter.
Was he?
Let's get some news we missed real quick. We got about a minute left in this thing.
News
What happened with Hunter, Connor?
He came in good.
We don't have enough time.
News we missed, sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off free shipping with code AMERICA. This just happened within the hour. Reports that Cleveland Browns offensive tackle Greg Robinson, who was the number 2 pick by the Rams in the 2014 NFL draft, is in custody, found with a lot of marijuana at the Border Patrol coming back from Mexico.
Same old brownies. All right, anything else?
Jason
Wait,
Witten.
Mexico? I feel so bad for my guy over there who just became the
Stefanski.
Andrew Barry.
Andrew Barry. Guy's from Harvard, like one of the best. He's like, we got a drug smuggler on the team. He's an offensive lineman.
He went to Colorado or California.
To Mexico.
What an idiot.
Anything else, Nick?
Jason Witten wants to come back. Not sure he's going to be a Cowboy, though.
All right. Well, good luck to him. I'm happy Witten's playing football again. All right, this has been Wednesday, February 19th. This show probably sucked. Thanks for listening. Hope the next one's better. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana!
At Simple Mobile, you get the no-contract advantage. Unlimited talk, text, and data now for $30 a month. Now on a 5G-ready network with no activation fees ever. No confusion, no complexity, no frustration, and no contract. Ever, ever, ever. Now get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a month. And now 5G-ready. It's our best deal ever. Buy yours now at nationwide retailers or at Simple Mobile dealers. Learn more at simplemobile.com. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.